our girl chat session. And I have joining me today Miss Karmen L. McKinley. Y'all say hello to Karmen.
Hi, everyone.
How are you this evening, Miss Karmen?
I am doing well. For those that are joining in, I am from New Orleans. So I wanted to say who that. Our Saints took on victory on today. And I am sporting my shirt, which represents my baby daddy, Alvin Kamara. Shout out to Bees Tees, my best friend, Bernetta Thomas, who created this shirt for me. I just had to put that shameless plug in.
Listen, Carmen love her some Saints, okay? And look, I just recently kind of connected with Carmen on social media, and I already know she loves some Saints. Funny, I'm not here about the Saints.
Yeah, I had my best friend to create this last night because I tried to get new gear to represent my baby daddy every week. So this is hook up with Bees Tees, y'all. She'll get y'all straight.
All right, y'all see that? Y'all hook up. She have to put that link on her page. Well, Carmen, I'm excited. Thank you so much for joining me for Girls Chat. Listen, guys, on Girls Chat, we don't really have a forum. We don't have a list of things that we, do this, do that. This is just a free, open Girls Chat talking. Well, we do have a topic, which today we are talking about friendships and what, Carmen?
Friendships and confrontations.
Friendships and confrontations. Because Carmen is my co-host, honey. I'm not hosted by myself. This is my co-host. Okay, so I'm real laid back, guys. I like to have fun and laugh, so don't get so tight on me. Laugh, let's have fun. Let's just this is Girls Chat.
This is Girls Chat. Let's have fun.
Yes. So, Carmen, I picked this topic today because this is something this is a topic that I feel like women in particular, we just need to have this girlfriend conversation sometimes. Yes. And we need to know, I hear a lot of people say, we're getting too old to be explaining to people why we cut them off. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you why I don't like that statement. Because sometimes you're cutting people off that are a lifeline for you. Because you got offended over something that could have been resolved just by you opening your mouth and saying, hey, this offended me. This hurt my feelings. And so as a part of this Confident Woman brand, many of us take the cheap route out and we just cut the relationship off versus saying, hey, being bold. We let fear drive us the other way. And so I feel like let's have that conversation. Let's talk about that. Let's just have the whole conversation. Yes. This is no forum. So I'm going to just let Karmen go first because she's my co-host. And, honey, she been hitting me up with her notes all week, honey. And I'm excited to hear what she got to say. And then I'm going to just come back on top of her. So go ahead, Karmen. You got the floor, girl.
Okay, well, I do agree with you. I don't like that statement where it says we should just cut people off. I'm going to say that I don't agree with it in certain situations. Right. And when you brought this topic to me with saying that, we would talk about this for this session, it fit right in with me because I went through a situation to where I didn't cut someone off, but someone cut me off over a simple misunderstanding. And first of all, with friendships, I just want to put that out there that friendships are godly divine connections. Like when you really call somebody a friend, that's a friend. And the Bible speaks about that. The Bible has a scripture in there where they say a friend loveth, covered you closer than a brother, a sibling, a sister, or whatever. So again, I want everybody to really understand that friendship is a godly divine connection with two or more people, because we have friends, we have associates, we have colleagues. So if you place someone in a category as a friend, then you really are obligated to that friend. Your loyalty, your faithfulness, your commitment is to that person. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to speak briefly about a situation that happened to me recently, and it was with two sets of individuals. I pride myself, first of all, and I'm going to try and be real transparent during this girl chat because, sometimes I really try and be private with things that go on with me, but I'm going to try and be real transparent to help someone because through the last couple of months, I went through something really hurtful, really painful, dealing with friendships. I decided about a year ago to return back to further my education in college. And so I did that for me because, our last conversation where we chatted, I spoke a little bit about overcoming obstacles, and I went through some traumatic experiences with losing my brother, my grandmother, my mother, and that happened rapidly, like year after year. I was losing people that were really close to me. And so I took on a role within my family to where I was really just trying to make sure my siblings, nieces, everybody was good. And I just decided that, I wanted to take some time for me and just really do me and focus on me. So I decided to go back to school, which was one of my goals. I did not share that with some friends because that was like a personal endeavor to me. I went through a year dealing with that, and there were some obstacles and challenges with that. And just for the sake of time, I won't get into that, Tanisha. But I just really kept that goal to me because it was something that I was dealing with me. Well, when I finished and I was graduating this year in May, I was really excited to share that with my friends. But, some people took it to heart that I didn't share that with them. And it created some distance. It created some misunderstandings. And to be friends with someone that you really consider a friend, like you've shared everything with, they've sat at your table, you've done just pretty much everything, and then they just really take one little thing like you mentioned before and take it to heart and then cut you off and don't communicate with you anymore. The relationship that you had prior has ceased. It's painful. And so you really, in my case, I didn't have an opportunity to confront or have a confrontation to say, hey, that really hurt me how you cut me off. Like you didn't give me a chance to explain to you why I didn't share, that goal or that particular thing that I was going through. This was a celebration, but within that celebration, me telling you, hey, this was one of my goals. I went through it. I did it. I graduated. I'm ready to celebrate now. This is what I was doing all this time. It wasn't a secret. It wasn't a vendetta. Right. It wasn't nothing that I was trying to keep.
Do you think they got offended? You think that kind of, were they offended that you didn't invite them in the process of what you were doing? Is that kind of how it was?
I don't know, because guess what? I didn't have the opportunity to have that sit down. To this day, I still haven't had that opportunity to have that sit down. I was cut off. And so in friendships, it's very important to have an open line of communication. And just like you opened up earlier in the podcast with saying, certain things can be handled just by opening your mouth. I did not like the way you handled that, or I felt some type of way that you did not share that or include me. And then we could have had that conversation about why I chose to do that this route. But yet, it was a friendship that was cut off, and that was very painful. That was a hurtful experience that you've had, this friendship, and now all of a sudden, it's a void, in your life. And create, distance. Even, another friend of mine, there was another similar situation that happened just over a miscommunication, and it created distance. And you miss those people. You miss that friendship. You miss that interaction. But again, just by you not opening your mouth and saying, hey, this affected me, causes you to lose that friendship. And so then comes the topic of, oh, you cut me off or you cut me off. It creates, a void and a establishment to where if you felt that way, if it was so easy for you to cut me off, then was I really that friend to you? Or was you really that friend to me? And so now you move through life, you move through life. And I'm just speaking for me, and there may be somebody else out there that may have had a similar situation. You now move through life as, and you go about your daily duties or daily whatever, like, okay, so this is where we are now, and this is where we will be. because if you didn't have, if you didn't give me that chance to just tell you why, how, what, where, then we don't need to go back through it anymore. Like,
it just really sounds like, from what you're saying too, that there was some offense there, and offense is the number one friendship killer, because we just don't understand things. I mean, it kills families, it kills relationships. We have to understand not everything is about you, and we have to allow people their time to do what they need to do for them. I feel like as a society, that's something that we need to get. It's not all about you. It's not, how did that affect you by me not telling you that I'm going back to school? It has nothing to do with you. You didn't have to pay for it. I ain't asked you to buy a book, nothing. So we have to work on ourselves. And that's one of the things I always say: to be a good friend, you have to be a good person. It starts with you. Be a good person. Yeah. Like, be considerate, be thoughtful. Ask, hey, you're going back to school. And we're not like necessarily talking about your friends per se, because I don't want to make it seem like that. But since you kind of use that example, just having that conversation, I can honestly say, I've been in some friendships where there were some things that I needed to confront, and man, I didn't. And I took the coward way out. I started acting funny. I started not answering my phone. And in the long run, I'm the one who lost, because it really was a good friend. I just didn't open my mouth because I was being a coward. And I really cut off that lifeline. And that was a good lifeline. Yeah. It just, that person wasn't perfect. But here I am, instead of just putting the cards on the table, I decided to throw the whole deck away. Right. You know what I mean? And I cut that lifeline off.
I don't want you to feel as though like you've done, in times past, I have done the same thing. I have had confrontations with friends that they didn't even know that a confrontation had happened, because I took the coward way out, because I didn't know how to address it, number one. And then we sometimes go through life not wanting to lose a friendship or relationship, so we don't address it. And sometimes things need to be addressed, because let's face it, you can't call everybody your friend. Some friendships are meant to be dismantled. Some people are meant to not be in your life. My pastor teaches about that all the time. Some connections are not from God. And so sometimes you need to, man up, woman up, and have those hard conversations to let people know, what's going on. And a lot of times,
discernment too, so you can know the difference. There's some things in life are a decoy. I say that all the time. You think just because somebody cheering you on, that does not mean they're your friend, honey. I learned that the hard way. You can clap for me. You can be the loudest one in the bleachers, but you can also be the same one doing like
a silent killer. A silent killer. And a lot of conversations these days and times in this society, like social media, phones, texting, I will be the first one to admit it. I am a heavy texter. I can be sitting right here by my phone. You can call me and I'll be like, text me, because sometimes I just don't want to have a conversation. Not that anything is going on. It's just that I have gotten into the habit of texting, that I don't want to have a conversation. And in these days and times, conversations need to be had, because you need to have conversations in person, because tones need to be heard. That's number one. Facial expressions need to be seen, and the energy needs to be felt. Because you can say something over text message that can be real simple, but the other party can just take it out of context. So that is not a good way to explain, have a conversation, or even confront anything. So it's those times where you have to have a hard conversation with your friendship, or just anybody in general, so that you can get your point across, and that, the air can be clear. That's number one.
That's my second time hearing that this weekend, because I actually did an episode yesterday for another podcast that I'm in. And that couple, I was with a couple, and they said the same thing. They was like, everything can't be said said over text message. We just have to get back to that conversation rules the nation. Let me hear. It's one thing if you did something and you text and I'm sorry, and if that person is not over it and you text and they hear I'm sorry, but maybe you really meant I'm sorry. So that we gotta think that's just something that needs to be said about the text messaging. We have to watch that.
Yeah.
Carmen, let me ask you this: what are some ways that you think? What's the right way to confront your friends if there's an issue? What is the right way? How should we handle it? Hey, let's clear this air. I know we talking about like not over text, but how should we start the conversation?
I think for me, and I'm not like a doctor or a psychologist by no means. I can only just like share my personal experiences with how I handle with my friends. The first thing is just really facing to the point that something's wrong. I brought to a friend of mine's attention. I was like, hey, there's some distance between us. Did I do something? Did I offend you? Did something happen? Because sometimes you can be going on with life as normal, but your friend can be hurting. They can be like really thinking like, you really hurt my feelings and you have no clue or idea, that you have offended somebody. So that's the first step. If you notice that something is wrong in that friendship, your friend is not acting the same. They're not the same towards you. Y'all energy is off. Y'all not syncing the way that y'all used to be. You have to identify that because a good friend is going to know that something is off. Yeah. And you have to, have the courage and be brave enough to say, hey, something is wrong. Something is off with us. Like, did something happen? So I say to anyone, that's the first step. And if you are wrong in any circumstance, admit it. If you are right, be quiet. God will prevail. God will fight your battle. You don't have to. And I was one to do that too. Let me tell you, girl, God has worked on me. Because let me say that my temper is something serious. Like, for real. I have a temper, and I'm not trying to be out here like Layla Ali or anything, but somebody in the past, somebody would say something or do something. I'm coming to your house. I'm coming to the restaurant. I'm coming wherever you at. We about to have this conversation. But now I'm in a place in my life right now to where I'm really asking God just to protect my peace, my sanity, and if I did something wrong, I'm gonna admit it. Hey, you know what? I was wrong. Yeah. I said that, I did that, I was wrong. But if I feel as though I didn't do anything wrong, then I prayed for me not to have an answer to everything. Sometimes you have to pick your battles. Everything it isn't worth answering to. Everything ain't worth proving yourself, because that's what I felt. I felt as though I had to prove myself. I had to show that I was the biggest and the baddest. I'm about to go off. I'm about to tell you, you're not going to handle me. You're not going to play with me. I'm 43. I don't have the energy for it. I'm trying to shed these pounds. I don't have the energy for nothing else. So if you're real,
I love that. I like that, Carmen. I love that you said that. But that's why I said, like, to be a good friend, you have to be a good person. And like you said, you were angry. You had to deal with some stuff. That's one of the things that Karmen talked about. We did a podcast session on Morning Coffee with Karmen that airs this Friday. And one thing that she said that stuck out to me in that podcast was deal with your issues. Deal with your issues. Like, a lot of times we just deflect our issues on other people. We angry from our childhood. I don't even know how we got over there, but that's just what it is. Because you need to be aware of your behavior in a friendship. It's not your friend's job to make you happy. We need to get over that. Our friends are not our therapists. If you need a therapist, get a therapist, because people got their own issues. Now I want to hear about you and Kenny G fighting again today and all that. Sometimes you gotta be cautious of that. In your friendships, you're not the only one with issues. So if you call your girlfriend, they don't answer the phone, don't get mad about that. Allow them their space and don't think that they're acting funny. And if you do sense that it's between you, like Karmen is saying, just call it out and say, hey, something is off. If you care enough about that friend, you should go to that friend. And that's exactly what the Bible tells us to do. If you have an issue with your brother,
go to him. Yes.
Go to him. And if you don't do that, that's on you. You know, if you chose to say, I'm just gonna cut the relationship and move around, then you will never give yourself a chance to grow either, because you could have been the problem. There could have really been something that you did, and maybe that friend wasn't confident enough to say, hey, you offended me here. Like, you know, basically you have to grow up.
And a lot of I talk to my friends all the time about, you control how you respond to things. You control your peace. So therefore, if you see, like, when you go into that friend and you confronting and there's an issue, if you are truly friends, you'll be able to hear one another out. And that friend will share with you, oh, this was going on, I felt this kind of way. And then you're able to say, well, you know what, I'm sorry, it wasn't like that, I didn't mean it that way, or it didn't come across that way, that was not what it was intended to be. You have to learn how to take your power back. When you give your power to somebody to be angry and be upset and don't want to be around the person, you're going to stop talking to them and all that. You are allowing people to take your power. You control how you respond to things. You don't have to fight every battle. And more importantly, your peace is everything. Your peace is everything. And that's what I'm focusing on this year until the Lord calls me home. My peace, because my peace was so shattered coming into like I can't even think back like how long that I really been living a hurt life. I was living, or I was walking around, I had a face on like everything was okay, like I'm living on top of the world, but inside I was hurting, until I really had to deal with some issues, accept some things, acknowledge some things. And now that I've gotten into a place of peace with everything, relationship, friendships, like we're talking about, you know, you just come to a place in your life where, well, guess what? If that's how you feel, I'm telling you that that's not what happened. I apologize.
And
this
move
is what
on.
It is.
And move on.
I'm moving on. I'm not gonna do the back and forth. That's not about to happen. I don't have the energy
like
for
that.
it. I'm just not.
You gotta protect your peace. You're right about that, Karmen. Like, we getting too old to be out here cutting up in the street.
Yeah,
that's why you see all these people on social media dragging each other out of McDonald's and all this, because, honey, you really got issues. This wasn't even about McDonald's. This issue started before you got to McDonald's. Can we keep that real? And so you have to deal with your issues. If Absolutely. You know you have an anger problem, don't put that off on your friend. You blowing all up and stuff. You know, the bottom line is care about your friendships, cherish your friendships. We are a lot of adult women out here that's being bullied by our friends because we won't open our mouth and say, sis, I don't like that you made that comment about my kid.
Right.
Sis, I don't like that you made that comment about my hair, or about my husband, or about my family, about my job. Speak on it. If they get mad and say you just being immature, talk it through. If it really is you and you know they really are joking, then work on your sensitivity. Correct. But if they really just, hit below the belt, then hey, this is not just me. This is you. You do that all the time. I'm telling you as a friend, I don't like that. Correct. And then you watch their behavior from there. Now, if they really care about you, then they'll make the changes or, make the adjustments.
And Tanisha, let me say this, because you brought up a good point about, in some situations we are being bullied by friends. And then sometimes, there are situations where if there's a collective group of friends and there's an issue between, one or two parties, and then they bring it to another friend and then they paint their side of the story. Guess what? I've learned, and this is all through prayer. I'm not I don't want anybody to think that I just woke up today and I just got this. No, this has been through a lot of hurt, pain, and tears. I'm at a point right now in my life, like whatever story they gave you, you just go with that, because people who really know you and know that you're 100, they know the real story. Like, you don't have to go back. You don't have, I'm going to use this example. You don't have to go on the witness stand and then be cross-examined to give your story. Like, whatever story that they brought you, and if people know you, they know you. They're going to know when that story comes back that that's not Tanisha. That's not Karmen. Karmen wouldn't act that way.
Your character
So,
always speak
yeah,
for itself.
your character is going to go a longer way than you keep fighting, trying to make people understand and know that you didn't do or say whatever. Like whatever story they give, let them give that story, because your character going to speak for yourself.
You're right. That's a good point, Karmen. Like, you don't have to spend like the whole year trying to defend yourself, because sometimes some people gonna find something wrong with you regardless. That's just the bottom line. Some people are just not gonna like you just because it's you. And just because they see you doing something that they don't have the courage to do, sometimes that causes them not to like you. So don't spend your time, chasing friends and stuff like that. There are people that are assigned to you. That's what Karmen and I were talking about before we went live, because I met her, connected with her through social media, and I told her how she support, she'll get on here, anything I post about girl chat, anything, she will repost it. And I've been friends with some people 20 plus years, and they have yet to even mention, oh, I see you doing girl chat. And so for or the other coffee, anything that I'm doing. And not that it's not all about me, but I have a certain expectation from people who say that they're my friends. Absolutely. I expect you to either be at the front holding down the cheerleading line, or you should be somewhere in the bleachers. And so sometimes that don't hit well. But then God had to remind me, there are people that will, don't look so much into it, there are people that will. And I guess it's just one of those things. I guess I just don't understand, but I'm not going to sit there and park in it. I'm just going to keep moving and say, thank you, God, for the nuggets that you have there, for the people that will support me, and I'm gonna keep it moving,
And guess what? The devil always uses people that are closest to you as a distraction. And sometimes they might not even know that they're, being used. That's just the devil's form of just trying to knock you off of what you have moving forward. I shared with you, I have a business. And I'm gonna share this with some people, and I know this may be off the subject, but I just feel as though I just need to put that out there. When I first started my boutique, I started it under alias name, because I knew that there would be people that would not support me. And then God touched me and was like, guess what I have for you is for you, whoever supports you or not. So you doing this under an alias name and don't want people to know that you have a boutique, that ain't of me. I got you. So you just go out there on the deep. And so when I finally decided just to go ahead and, relaunch my boutique and be like, hey, this is me. I'm starting my business. This is my passion. This is what I got going on. Some friends never stop by to shop again, and not realizing that I have all those same messages, all them same orders from friends who ordered before, not knowing that it was me. And now that you know that I have a boutique and I've rebranded, you don't support at all. But guess what? Again, I'm going to say this again, and that's for every business owner out there that might be dealing with friends not supporting you. You just keep it moving and keep it pushing. I have my girlfriend, my best friend, Bernetta Thomas, I always chime in and talk to her and tell her stuff, and I was just sharing with her, just venting. I was like, girl, like it is so hard. Like, I'm trying to do this. I don't want to give up on it. And she immediately said, I'm not going to let you give up. Like, whatever I got to do to support you or help you, I'm gonna do it. And you need those type of friends to, just give you that extra.
You need to cultivate you, because I feel like you said, that's your vision. I
threw in the towel a long time ago, but just by her saying, guess what? You're not giving up. Like, whatever I could do to help you, I'm gonna help you. And she's a business owner, herself. I shouted her out, earlier in the broadcast. She does personalized teas, but you need those type of people in your corner that does not have a personal agenda or underlying hate because you are doing something. And this is another thing, I'm very wordy, I'm very talkative, so I don't want to take over this broadcast, but this is just good. A good. And I have so much, like meat that, just I've been meditating this all week, the conversation. I just wanted to be prepared to talk to people that's out there, because a lot of people are dealing and going through friendships and confrontations. So I just want to be able to help somebody. It is not the fact that a house is bought or a business is started or you graduated, or you got married. None of those issues really matter. The point of the matter is to some folk that you did it. Sally Sue could have did it. Aaron James could have did it. Tanisha could have did it. Nicole could have did it. But the fact that you did it, to some people, that is a problem. So do not let people discourage you because you took the courage and you stepped out on faith to open that business, to buy that car, to buy that house, to get married. Just keep moving. Like, just because people don't have the willpower or the thrive to step out and do stuff that they should have done a long time ago, and then when you decide to do it, they have a problem, is not your issue. You do what God has placed on your heart for you to do, and God's going to bless it. As long as you doing it in his name and he's giving you the provision for your vision, don't allow, other people or friendships to stop you, because if they were truly your friend, they're going to support you.
Let me plug this in right here, Karmen. One reason why, just because it's you, is because some of the people that are close to you, they know your issues. And some of them have already decided that you're not qualified to do what God has placed in you to do. But what we have to remember is that we're all on the road of becoming. There's things that God put in us that we are headed to. So some people give up on you in your process of becoming, and you just have to kind of naturally let those people fall off. You can't let them get to you. Like, you needed something that they had in that season, but as you begin to propel forward, they might fall off. And you just have to let it be what it be, because you cannot not do your destiny. You cannot not do what God put in you because somebody has deemed you not qualified. I just want to plug that in. Go ahead with your points, Carmen, because you're good. You're doing good.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree. God has blessed me to be around some, amazing women that are able to, talk you down off of that bridge or that rope, or not throwing in that towel. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, when everybody has a purpose, let's just start there. Everybody has a purpose. It is up to you to fulfill your purpose. And even if you don't want to fulfill your purpose, you can hate on the next person because they are going or seeking after what their purpose is. Desha Toliver, a good girlfriend of mine, always stated that you have to go after what you believe in, and you can't let anyone deter you from going after what you need to do. And people are just gonna dislike you. Hate is a strong word, but there are people out there that are going to hate you just because you are you. But if you're good at what you're good at, take it up with God. That's what I say. You can't blame me.
Yeah, because God gonna hold you accountable. He gonna hold you accountable for not fulfilling your purpose. He ain't gonna want to hear, well, she didn't believe in me, or she told me I couldn't do it. He gonna say, what that had to do with what I said, though. And that's the problem. We give friendships too much power to validate what God called us to do. And you get in relationship. That's really friendship homicide, if you ask me. That's the perfect way to kill
us. That's a good point, Tanisha. I like that.
Authority. You give them too much power in your life. You got to stay focused and be confident to say, no, ma'am, you are not allowed to do that. Give me them. You have the keys to your life.
Absolutely.
You got to get people out of your vehicle when it's time to go. Not everybody cannot go in the car with you when you're going on your road.
Absolutely. And another thing is, I used to think that communication was the key to everything. And I don't want to contradict what I said earlier, because communication is everything. But not only communication, you can think that you are the greatest communicator. You can think that you communicate very well. The thing is, you can have communication, but if you don't have the ability to comprehend what that person is communicating, then you're lost too, because you have to have an understanding of what people are trying to tell you. Not only do you have to have the key to communicate, you also have to have the key to be able to comprehend what they're saying. I could tell you all day long, this is what you need to be doing. I feel as though you need to go in this direction. I see you moving this way, but if you're not understanding what I'm saying or how I'm saying it or the point that I'm trying to get across to you, then it's useless. Like the whole conversation that I've had with you is dead, it's futile. So you not only do you need to communicate or have the ability to communicate, you also need to make sure that the other party has the ability to comprehend and understand exactly what you're saying in the friendship. Friendship is a two-way street. It goes both ways. It's just not, and I've seen and been in one-sided friendships for a very long time. And I guess that's why, I'm in a season to where God is steadily removing people from.
You still there, Karmen? All right, I just want to make sure my light started messing up, so I had to turn my video off. But I'm still here, y'all. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what happened to my light bulb. But just picking off up where Carmen left off. Are you back, Carmen?
So it's probably because I'm in a season to where God is taking me somewhere else, and they just can't go.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I'm telling you, sometimes I always say this: when it's time for your life to go to another level, the first thing that God starts to do is change the people around you. We tend to want to take people everywhere, but not everybody is on the level that you're on. Yeah. So you're trying to, reach your maximum potential. Some people just want to stay home and watch TV every day. So they're not going to want to get on board with you to say, start a workout plan, or let's start a, self-help book. They don't want to do that. And so people influence us more than what we know. And so you need the right set of influencers around you if you're going to live your best life. If you're really going to go after all these goals, you got to get around goals-oriented people. Yeah. And if that's not your situation with your current friends, then yes, there's going to be tension in the friendship. You can confront them all you want and say, hey, what's wrong? Something is off. But truth is, what's off is your timing. Your timing is, the season is up. And I'm sorry, y'all, about the video. My light went out, so I'm sorry I had to turn the camera off because it was dark and y'all couldn't see me no more. But I hope y'all still hear these nuggets. But the bottom line is, if you have a friend and some things are not going right, what Karmen and I are saying is use proper confrontation. Don't go to them talking crazy. We too grown for that. Just say, hey, something is off in our friendship. Do you even care to discuss it? Now, if they deny it, then that may be a situation or an issue. You need to find out, okay, well, maybe it's not me. Maybe they're just going through something. Don't automatically assume that it is about you, because maybe it's just them. And so pray and ask God for discernment, and just your time just might be up. But if that's not the case and there's really something that they did to offend you, talk about it. Go to them, talk about it, see if you can come to a resolve, apologize if you need to, and then don't apologize if you don't need to. That's the thing too. We don't talk about that because sometimes you need to sometimes we don't need to apologize. We need to stand in our truth and say no.
We just say sorry to say that we're sorry to appease the other party. No, if you're not wrong, be quiet.
That's it. We got to stop apologizing for making decisions that no longer serve our purpose, or decisions that serve our purpose. If y'all used to go out every night and now you don't want to do that anymore because God's shifting you somewhere else, don't apologize for that. I can't apologize for taking my life in another direction.
Yes. Own where you are right now. And I like what you said about, praying about it and having discernment. Let me tell you, my prayer life has really increased over this last year. I make it a point to pray when I get up in the morning. I make it a point to pray when I'm going to bed at night in my car. I was an avid 98.5 listener. I had to hear my R&B, and I had to get, in the mood. I had to catch that beat. And so now, my car is locked into the gospel station because it's all about what you let into your spirit as well. I'm the first one to say I love to party. I like to have a good time. But, you have to incorporate a prayer life and set your spirit in the right place. And so, with friendships, it's all about prayer, as you said too. Like if something's going on, something's going wrong, pray about it before you just jump into it head first. I mentioned earlier that, I have a temper out this world, and I used to always pray, like, God, you got to control this, because I don't look good at orange, and then, I don't want to, you can't fight, every fight. You could be the baddest person in the world, but you're going to run up on somebody that's just going to,
right,
crap out you. So, before either one of those two things happen, let me just, calm myself down and pray, and I've been praying for my temper. I've been praying also to be humble, because even in confidence, you can sometimes be too confident to where you're arrogant. And so, I've been praying also, to be humble as well. And I think, and I had to accepting your issues. Let me say this, because in friendship, sometimes we don't accept the issues of how we come across and where we could be wrong. And this is an issue that I needed to accept for me in my friendships. Because of my career and my position that I have in my workplace, and also because of the position that I serve in with my church, allows me to have a lot of authority to where I have to lead and delegate and do certain things. And so at one point in time, I didn't have an off button, because I'm always in a position to delegate and be in authority, to where in my friendships, it will always be like, I'm at work or I'm at church, and I would be delegating or being like an authoritative figure in my friendships, to where, that can come across really wrong. And I'm not doing it purposely, but because I'm always in that mold of an administrator or executive, that, I was always operating in a friendship on that magnitude. And so I had to recall myself, like, hey, this is your friend. You're not at work. You're not at church. Like, tone it down. Like, you have to sometimes flip that switch on and off and recognize what you can be doing wrong in those friendships as well, before somebody even come and tell you and bring it to your attention. You know what come out your mouth and how it comes out your mouth as soon as you say it. Nobody don't have to tell you. So, we also have to stop playing that role as if we don't know what we're doing.
And
because
be
some
open.
friendships, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're right. But that comes with, again, Karmen, being aware of yourself, being aware of your own self. You're in the same way we're talking about confronting friends and stuff. Your friend should be able to come to you and say, look, your attitude is not right about this. And we have to let the wall down. A good, true friend will really help you to grow into the best version of yourself. But we got to stop being offended and let the walls down and be open to constructive criticism. Now, I'm not talking about that friend that say you really shouldn't have cut your hair and this and that. Those are, I feel like if you ain't got to rock the hairstyle, then you ain't got to speak on it. Unless I'm just out here looking toe up from the flow up, let me do my thing. You know what I'm saying? But, we have to just be open and say, hey, you've been really short with your husband. I don't know if you're aware of that, but I just want to bring it to your attention, because I noticed you kind of been venting about y'all arguing. But sis, I think something may be going on with you. You need to kind of pray about this. See, don't get in your feelings and be like, you ain't married. How you going to tell me? See that right there. You got to be teachable. You got to be teachable and coachable, especially if they're not hating on you. Yeah. Now, if you know that one friend, because some friends, he critique the confidence right out of you. So you got to watch that too. Honey, it has happened. You'll be hair be down your back this week, then your hair short hair next week, then you'll be wearing black. You just have to watch that. That's why I say stand in your own truth.
Yes.
So all those things are important. Well, then we've had a great conversation on friendships. Do you have any closing words for them, Karmen? Because it is going on 7. I don't want to keep them all day, but hopefully this is blessing y'all. We can't really see y'all comments, and then my light just went out. I'm so mad about that, but I'm just gonna move on. I'm gonna get this one, whatever. But do you have? I'm like, when you just be playing and stuff, and I'm like, are you seriously gonna go out right now? Whatever. But do you have any closing thoughts for them, Karmen? Just on how to let's set up the scenario. Just say there's some friends, and you're in a friendship and maybe you're kind of feeling bullied by your friend, and you really need to stand up and say, you love this friend, but maybe this friend has a short temper, and you know that if you say something that it puts the friendship at risk of, you losing the friendship. Can you just kind of give us some advice on how to handle that?
Yes. One thing, again, I would say to that person that may be dealing with that is prayer. Prayer is key. God is going to lead you and direct you, and give you the know-how, the wherewithal to confront that friend, and go to that friend. Your tone and the way you address and confront somebody sets the tone for everything that you do with the conversation. And just let them know, hey, you're making me feel this type of way, and I didn't want to bring it to your attention, but I feel as though the love that I have for you and the love that I have for this friendship, we need to address it. We need to discuss it and go that route. And even with that friend with a short temper, they may blow up. They may not accept how you come into them. You remain in your position of love, and you be like, you know what, I just wanted to bring this to your attention because I love you, I appreciate you, I'm trying to salvage our friendship, but I see at this time that, we're not on the same page. Mm-hmm. And if God reconnects you and reconnects that friendship, so be it. But if not, that friend was not supposed to be in your life if they cannot connect and understand or respect. Because that's one thing that we didn't get a chance to talk about, in this conversation. If that friend can't respect you enough to value what you're saying or the opinion that you have or respect your feelings, then that's a friendship that you need to reconsider.
That's good. That's a good point right there. And I think it's safe to say that we've all probably dealt with something like that, especially if it's somebody who you look up to. Sometimes, you can look up to somebody so much that you don't see your own greatness, and that's a problem. And if that's you and you're in that type of friendship, that's a problem, because your friend, a true friend, they should help to validate that greatness inside of you. So if you're friends with someone and it's just all about them, then you may need to really examine and say, is this really my friend? I want to close us out with this. There was a story before. I know a lot of us are familiar with Monique, and also with Lonnie Love from The Real. And there was an episode before where Monique appeared on The Real, and she had to confront Lonnie. Now, they've been friends for a while, but what happened was Monique kind of came out with her situation with her husband, and Lonnie went on her podcast and she spoke about her disagreement with Monique's decision. Well, Monique came on the show and she said, my sister, I have to tell you. She said, I heard what you said on your podcast. She said, and I was offended. And she said, the reason why I was offended was because when you first started acting, I'm the one that helped you to get your Hollywood gig. And I really appreciated the way Monique handled that, because she was saying to her, if you really felt like that, my sister, you should have picked up that phone and you should have called me to take my business on your platform of your podcast. I didn't expect that from a friend. Absolutely. And I've learned so much from that episode, because a lot of people may feel however they feel about Monique, and you're entitled to, but I respect that sister, because she said she came, and that took a lot of guts for her to get on national TV and say, my sister, I have to call you out right here, because you could, if you feel, it's nothing wrong with you feeling like that. But the issue is, don't pretend like I wasn't a part of your journey. Yes. And that I didn't play a major role, because a lot of Hollywood was telling her no. A lot of Hollywood was like, no, we don't know you, Lonnie. And Monique really stood up for her and said, no, give her a chance. I'm going to help her. Yes. Lonnie talked about how Monique molded her, taught her how to do auditions. That took a lot. And I want to say that to you. That can be you. I don't care how long you've been friends with them. Don't lose. If your confidence and your self-esteem, if you're getting that deep knot in your stomach and your throat, you need to deal with that fear, because fear will stop you every time. And if that's not the way we're supposed to live with people. Nobody. You don't give, like Karmen said earlier, you never give nobody that much power over you that you can't see. That right there is a sign of saying my voice don't matter. My voice, and that's a confidence issue. That's a confidence issue. You have to be willing to risk it all for the sake of your dignity and your confidence, because nobody should have that much power over you that they have a muzzle over your mouth and you can't say. I used to teach my niece when she was younger, you can say anything you want to say. It's all about the way you say it. It's even if that's your opinion. Now, don't stand up in the room and just yell it. Just say, hey, I feel like this about this. So if that's you, and you're in that type of friendship and you need to get something off your chest to your friend, I just want to encourage you today to take that leap. You know, don't text them when next time y'all having y'all chill girl time, y'all going out for drinks or going out for happy hour or shopping, whatever, pick a good time and say something has been on my heart. Absolutely. And I want to talk to you about it. You know, that's just my perspective on it. You have anything you want to say to that, Karmen, before we wrap up?
I also want to say is, you know, I mean, this conversation could go so in depth. Tanisha, you may need to have, you know, do a part 2 because there were so many things that we didn't get a chance to touch upon. And even when you were sharing the story about Monique, and then you brought up earlier in the show bullying. Loyalty does not equal bullying as well, because sometimes in friendship, people can use the word loyalty, but also be using it as a mechanism of bullying as well. Just because I'm loyal to you in the friendship does not mean I have to agree or abide by everything that you say or that you do. I can be loyal to you and we can always agree to disagree. So in that as well, everyone out there, you can be loyal to your friends, but you don't have to use loyalty as a form of bullying just because your friend at one point or another may not agree with your actions that you're doing. I can still be loyal to you, but I can still tell you, you were definitely wrong when you did that, or you were definitely wrong when you said that. And I just want to shout out my good girlfriend, Destra Tolliver, somebody who always has the ability to call me out on my stuff, but she does it in a way to where I don't feel offended or I don't have any gripe or feeling about it. And I just want to let her know that I appreciate that mechanism that she has in our friendship, because she is very loyal to me. And it's not a sign of bullying or anything, but she can always acknowledge or identify when I've done something wrong. And she can be like, you know what, Queen, that was wrong, or you did say that, and you need to like fix that. That needs to be something that you need to address. And there's no ill will about it. You have to also be able to be mature enough. If your friend calls you out about something, be mature enough to respect what they're saying as a form of them helping you, because that can bring you to another level as well. You may not think that there's something wrong with it, but it's something wrong with it. And they are showing you the other side of how people can take offense to it.
You are so right, Carmen. We are going to have another session, because I know there's so much to be said, you know, about friendship. I feel like what we did today was lay some foundation, and we'll come back and we'll do another session. I have a couple of sessions I'm already kind of lined up for the next couple of weeks, but we're going to come back. We're going to talk about this some more, because this is a conversation that's needed. I love how you said that loyalty is a form of bullying, because it is. You know, people love to say that you ain't loyal, but you can call me what you want, because if you wrong, I'm not jumping on board with no foolishness.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, I'm about my purpose. And if you trying to get me to do something, you engage in something that I don't need to be in, honey, you can cut that cord, you can burn that cord, because I'm done. It's a wrap.
Absolutely.
And it took a lot of guts to get there. You know, I've sat back for years and kept my mouth closed for not wanting to offend friends and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, God started holding me accountable and saying, why did you sign your name on that dotted line? And you know, you don't feel like that. You just gave away a piece of your confidence.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, we got to watch those gaps of how we get to feeling low self-esteem and why we're so emotional, because we've given our power back. But look, we're going to stop it right here, because I know we've been off for a while. Me and Karmen are going to talk. We're going to set another day. We're going to come back, Karmen. We're going to do part 2. Let's finish busting this friendship thing open, because this, as women, we just need these conversations.
Absolutely.
So, we're here every Sunday, guys. Ladies. Every Sunday for Girls Chat. I have a session next week. We're going to be talking about purpose in your pain and life. And then after that, we have a couple of panels. And then after that, Karmen and I are going to come back after I have 2 weeks of panels. Y'all don't want to miss those. Karmen is on that panel too. And so she'll give y'all more information about that.
Absolutely.
So stay connected with us. Invite some ladies to join the group. We're all about helping women to be branded and brilliant and resilient and admirable, notable and dynamic women. When you can stand in that, you can walk in any room with your head high. I don't care who's in the room. You walk in there because, hey, I matter too. I have a voice. I am important too, you know. Absolutely. And so anyway, so stay connected with the Confident Woman brand. I'm Tanisha R. Atkins, and y'all be on the lookout. Karmen is going to be on my Morning Coffee podcast. That's a Christian podcast that I do. And so she'll be sharing the link for that. Her episode comes out on Friday at 8:30, and it's Overcoming Obstacles. And that's how Karmen and I connected. And I just knew then, I was like, this is a butterfly that's going to be in my universe. And I was like, yes, I feel it. I feel it. Well, we're going to let you all go. Thank you so much again, Karmen. I'll be getting with you for our part 2 on friendships and you know, all that stuff. I'm so upset about my light. I'm really sorry, y'all. I'm sorry y'all can't see me. But it's like dark in here because my little studio light just went out. Like, I'm like, you just going to burn out in the middle of a session? But anyway, thank y'all so much. We appreciate y'all. And we'll see you next Sunday at 6 p.m. For another round of Girl Chat. Thank you, Karmen.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
It's my baby daddy.
Oh, my gosh. Bye, Karmen. Thank you.
Bye, Tanisha. Thank you.